Hey now, everybody. We're back with another Midweek Migraine. I got to tell you, I've been banging my head this week. I had a awful November, first and foremost, with my picks. I'm now deep in the hole in terms of against the spread, but last week might have been the worst pick week I've ever had. I literally couldn't. You could have told me who was going to win the game, and I would probably have gotten it wrong. Lost all three games on Thanksgiving, as we highlighted last week. Then I come in, I do my six picks. I finished 1-5 against the spread and 1-5 straight up. My only win was Minnesota last week. I mean, I lost everywhere. I lost on Pittsburgh, New England. I lost on Cleveland Monday night. I mean, a blocks, a kick six to win the game. Baltimore killed me. Probably should have, hindsight, they have been in a lot of close games this year. Tampa Bay, Hasselbeck continues to get it done. The old man, we'll see what he does. Him and Roethlisberger rematch a Super Bowl 40, if you can believe that was 10 years ago, coming up on Sunday night. The Giants killed me. They looked like they were a dumpster fire in the first half. And then I had Minnesota. So that's the quick recap in terms of the midweek migraine. I'm real excited. This is the time of year, where it's like I said last week, all the buys are done. It's the home stretch here. We're looking down one of the best home stretches we're going to have in a long time in the NFL, and you got to consider with the Cowboys being terrible, Miami not living up to expectation. Let me think. Oakland exceeding expectation. Kansas City, who started 1-5, now they're 6-5 or whatever it was. They've turned it around. Buffalo still in the mix. The Patriots, nobody's doubting how great what they put together so far, but it's certainly everybody knows it's a war of attrition. Gronk being week to week, we'll see what happens. Just keep him out. I mean, if I'm the coach, you got 10 wins. I don't see anybody coming for you. Home field, as long as you're still in the top two, you're good to go. So right now, they control their own destiny. Cincinnati, a team that, I was really impressed. They lost that game at home. They came cross country to Arizona. They lost two in a row, but that game at Arizona, man, they played well. They played really well. So I like Cincinnati. Indy, hey, Hasselbeck continues to get it done. It'll be a great game this week. Like I said, they have Pittsburgh on Sunday night. That should be an awesome game in Pittsburgh. Roethlisberger to play, Hasselbeck to play. These two met in Super Bowl 40. I mean, that was 10 years ago. Think about that, 10 years ago. But then, cruising down, you got the Texans, who their defense hasn't played better than, they've been playing, no one's defense has played better than the Texans the last few weeks. I got Kansas City, Alex Smith, 283 pass attempts or something like that since his last interception. Fourth longest streak in NFL history, not turning the ball over. Macklin getting involved last week. He looked outstanding. And the run game, Spencer Ware, unbelievable. Just comes right in. Sharkandrick, West, Nile, Davis, who are those guys? It's Spencer Ware. So Ware is lighting the world on fire there in Kansas City. The Jets, they looked outstanding last week. But this is a team, week to week, you can't get too high, you can't get too low this time of year. Great win last week. Let's not lay an egg this week at home against the Giants. I know the Giants are the home team, but we're at least in our own building. Same routine, same atmosphere. That's why I like to say the home. Hey, you're going to go places people aren't going to like you. It should be an interesting, but at least you'll be comfortable in terms of the routine. And then you got, Jacksonville. I like watching Bortles. You got to see Allen Hurns and Robinson. They're two of the top 10 wide receivers, I believe, in terms of yards and touchdown receptions. Phil Rivers, after laying an egg 2 weeks ago against Kansas City, comes back this week and just absolutely phenomenal. 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Outstanding. And then, we're going to see what Austin Davis can do in Cleveland. And, of course, you got Tennessee, who, hey, dude, Rome wasn't built in a day. Over in the NFC, Carolina, Arizona, Minnesota. So here you go. You got Carolina. People are saying they're going to go undefeated. I still don't think that's the case. It's just so hard to do. So many things have to go right. They got 2 games with Atlanta. They're all their games against the NFC. I'm not going to pull up their schedule right now. I know they got a pretty good road. They got New Orleans this week. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But Nothing set in stone. I know that they're not playing any studs down the stretch. Here, I'll even entertain it. Let's click on it real quick. Down the stretch, they got Saints, Falcons, at Giants, at Falcons, home against the Bucks. So, I mean, anything could happen. I mean, the Giants kept the Patriots in check till the final drive. I mean, they made them earn it. So I don't take that for granted. I know their defense looks outstanding, but it shouldn't be. If Carolina goes undefeated, fantastic. I just don't think it's going to happen. Arizona, they look great. I'd love to see them and Carolina in the NFC Championship. I know these other teams are really fighting and vying for position here. Minnesota, great game this weekend. Later game, but they'll have Seattle come into town. Or actually, I believe they have an early game. No, Seattle and Minnesota is an early game. Excuse me. That's an early game with big playoff implications there. The 3 seed versus the 6 seed as it stands now. Arizona also with an early game against St. Louis. Then you have the surprise, the bells of the ball, as I like to say. I mean, if you listen to talk radio, football talk radio, the way I do, every single one of these guys, when you would say rate the NFC East habitually, even with the running backs, which I knew were stronger, they're ranking them third, fourth, dead, not even giving the Redskins any time of day. The Redskins are in the mix. I mean, if all their games could be at home, they got a home game this week. Kirk Cousins doesn't lose at home. He looks very, very comfortable in that building. They looked dominant in the first half, capitalizing on the Giants' mistakes. They seem to me to be a team that doesn't have the ability to close games out. We saw that with Seattle early on. Even at their home games, Seattle's had the lead in all of their games in the fourth quarter. They haven't been able to close them all out. They did last week against the Steelers, but the Redskins strike me as a team like that hasn't really found their way over the hump to consistently beat these teams when they have a lead. But we'll keep an eye on them. I mean, right now, they're in first place. They're the number 4 seed. They're looking at a home game. Then you have the Green Bay Packers, who, they got a big game against Detroit this week. It's at Detroit. Detroit beat them, if you can remember, for the first time since '91 at Green Bay a few weeks ago. Aaron Rodgers is getting excited about that. It's a thorn in his side. He's a very competitive guy. He doesn't like losing, let alone being able to avenge a loss. He's certainly going to be looking for that on prime time. I don't know, though. I mean, Green Bay, a team that's week to week, they certainly aren't as dominant. And we all know the beginning of the season, there's a few teams that have Super Bowl or bust. Green Bay is one of those teams. It's not going to be an easy path. Seattle at the 6th seed, big game against Minnesota, as we stated earlier. Then you got Atlanta and Tampa Bay at 7 and 8. They play this week. Awesome. Giants at 9 play the Jets, who are also in the mix. Awesome. Chicago, who I got to tell you, Chicago's on the up and up. They are definitely on the rise. Who is it? Adam Gase is their coordinator. I believe he's came over with Fox from Denver. Getting better every week. There's teams that are getting better every week, and there's teams that are declining. And you can kind of see that in the mix. They seem to be like a team that's getting better every week. Kansas City, a team that's getting better every week. Detroit, a team that's getting better every week. You can make an argument for the Redskins, a team that's getting better every week. But then there's really good teams that are getting better every week. Arizona, Carolina, Cincinnati, New England. Even despite, let me tell you, it's only going to be easier for them to win if they can overcome adversity now with these guys, with these missing pieces out. Everybody stepping up and jumping in a role. So that's the midweek migraine. I'm not going to go over into what the picks are, but I do want to touch on a couple more things. We're going to start rolling these things in because there's a lot that goes on in sports. And I'm only going to focus on a couple things. Like I said, we did the recap. I gave you what I thought in terms of what's going on in the NFL. I got to touch on this NBA thing. I mean, I know I didn't pick them last year. I picked the Cavs. I know Mac definitely picked Golden State. I'm telling you right now. I love them all. Unbelievable. This is the farewell tour. If you haven't got a chance to see him play, try to get out there and see Kobe play. Unbelievable how the Sixers were actually favored last night and won the game against LA to come off the schneid. They're now 1-19. But what I want to talk about is these Golden State Warriors and my man Steph Curry, who I know I'm only 34 years old. I know I've only been watching the NBA since maybe 1986, 87. I remember the Larry Nance slam dunk contest. That was like Jordan and Wilkins. I remember that being like my first intro, the 3-point contest, that kind of thing. I don't think I've ever seen, and since then I've been a huge fan. Jordan, Bird, you name it, Reggie, Ray Allen, name them all. Name the best shooters you want, Kobe, whoever. I don't think I've ever seen a better shooter than Steph Curry. I don't. It's unbelievable. He's 2 inches taller than me. The nice doctors think I'm 6'2", but I'm 6'1". He's 6'3", and he just looks unreal out there. Just dominating, quick release, leadership, leading the league in points. They're having fun. And all the guys are excelling. I mean, Draymond Green's having an exceptional season. These other guys they're coming in, spotting off the bench, Livingston, unbelievable. These guys are just really exceeding the expectation whenever the opportunity is given. They just won their 20th game tonight. They're 20-0. But this is what's really gotten me. And I know that Reggie Miller and I know that Ray Allen were great. I would argue, I'm a big UConn guy. Ray Allen's unbelievable. But Steph Curry is going to shatter their three-point records. Ray Allen, I believe it's 2,700 or 2,900, somewhere in there. I'm not talking long-term. He's far from there. But let me just give you in terms of statistically season-wise. Top three all-time statistically. 1 and 2 are Steph Curry with 286 in a season, 272 in a season, and number 3 is Mr. Ray Allen with 269. The reason I'm highlighting Steph Curry today is he hit 75 three-pointers. 75 three-pointers in the month of November. 75 three-pointers. If he does that in December and January, he could have 400 three-pointers this year. I don't think that'll be the case. I think he'll cool off. But, for him to do 300 three-pointers for the next 4 years, I would say almost easily. That's 1,200. He's got 1,200 right now. He's 25 years old, 26 years old. Sky's the limit for this kid. I love watching him, but take a step back and think about that. How many three-pointers you've seen Ray Allen drain? Reggie Miller. I loved Ray Allen. I hated Miller because I'm a Knicks fan. But I feel like he made so many three-pointers, and Curry's going to blow that out of the water. Blow it out of the water. Larry Bird is going to blow it out of the water. I believe he has already more three-pointers than LeBron. LeBron's been playing since 2000. He's got almost 8 years on Curry in the league. So, nonetheless, Steph Curry, a quick recap on that. And then I can't not talk about this because I swear to God, you guys don't understand and how fortunate we are, Red Sox and Yankees fans that live in this tri-state, Metro North, New England area. It is awesome because everybody, it's it's an arms race. Everybody's in it, whether it's day one of the regular season or the first day of the off season. It's awesome. So everybody's in it. We all know there's been some big moves. The Sox, certainly they cleared house with their higher ups. And Dombrowski has come in, and this guy has identified the absolute needs of the Red Sox. What couldn't they? They had no bullpen last year, so they go get Craig Kimbrell. Awesome for them. As a Yankee fan, I'm like, that was a good play. Solid play. It was their biggest hole. And the second thing they do is they go get David Price. Now, everybody's hemming and hawing about this. It's a good move for the Red Sox. I don't understand the science behind it, but they've had some new faces in place. So what happened to John Lester, and everybody's like, oh, we should pay. Those guys aren't in charge anymore. Yeah, you still got the higher-ups, but the guys that are pulling the strings now are new faces. They're telling them what needs to be done. I think that the addition of Price is outstanding. As a Yankee fan, am I overly concerned about it? No, because we see Price as it is. But does it make the Red Sox a better team? Absolutely. Now, if they can get some value or some production from these guys that they paid last year, they could be an exceptional squad. But a couple things that don't concern me. As a Yankee fan, he's got 30 starts, a little indigestion from a delicious dinner. He's got 30 starts against the Yankees in his career. He's 13-7. He has a 4.04 ERA, a ton of strikeouts, but he's human. 13-7, great. He's got a winning record, but he's not like 20-8 or 23-5 in 30 starts. That would be a big problem. So David Price isn't somebody we're unfamiliar with, but I'll tell you right now, he seals up that first victory for the Red Sox. It's going to carry momentum. So the Sox did a great thing with that. We'll see if the Yankees respond. I'm hearing that they're not going to. I'm hearing they're content. Cashman's very aware of what's going on with our payroll. I believe Teixeira and Beltran drop off after this season, and then in 2 seasons, CC and A-Rod drop off. So, I mean, between those 4 guys, I mean, A-Rod and CC, that's like $50 million right there. The other 2, I mean, you're close to $100 million between all the players, at least $90 million. So I don't know if he's going to go get a gun this year. I don't think Greinke's coming east. I think San Francisco and LA are going to battle that out. I've seen Schmarza's. There's word about him from Chicago, former wide receiver at Notre Dame. They call him the Shark. I don't know. These guys that are 30, I don't want to, I mean, $217 million. I'm not saying it's a lot of money in terms of the grand scheme. We're going to spend $1 billion on the next political cycle is what I'm getting at. So $217 million over the course of 7 to 10 years for a pitcher, people are going to say it's a lot. It is a lot, but it's, we're not talking $500 million here. There's ops outs. There's got things happen. Next thing you know, the guy's traded. They're picking up his salary. We see it all the time. So everybody calm down. You want to get the guy, you got to pay the money. So Red Sox, I thought that was a great play by them. We'll see if the Yankees respond. And then otherwise, college basketball is underway. UConn had a tough weekend over the weekend in terms of a couple losses there to ranked teams. They lost to Gonzaga. Excuse me, not ranked teams. They lost to Syracuse on Thanksgiving, and then Gonzaga, who was ranked. And then you had PC, the local team. I mean, PC crushed tonight, as did UConn, but PC, dude. Ben Bentil and Chris Dunn. Wow. Watch out for these guys. I'm not saying UConn's not going to be great, but PC is coming. And I think they put the country on notice with an excellent performance last week and just falling short to an excellent Michigan State team. So that's the Midweek Migraine. I hope you guys enjoy it. We're getting some traction. I had a couple of buddies from Maryland call me this week saying they're watching it now. So enjoy the show. I'll be back on Sunday to do my pick'ems. Remember, 2 at 1 o'clock, 2 at 4 o'clock. Sunday, Monday night, we'll do those, and we'll get you all caught up. Thank you guys. Have a happy weekend. Be well to each other, and our prayers and thoughts to everybody out in San Bernardino. Another tragedy. That makes for 355 mass shootings. Mass shooting constitutes 4 people or more in 336 calendar days, I believe it is. I think. Something like that. I saw that somewhere. So we're already more mass shootings than there are days in a year. Everybody's going to say, Travis is going to say it's a gun issue. It's a combination of several things, but we need to prevent people that have mental health getting these kind of weapons and things and having these instances occur. It's just tragic. Today it happened at a state facility for disabled folks. I know my wife works in a facility like that, so our thoughts and prayers with that, and hopefully our leaders can come together and find a common ground and not only protecting the Second Amendment, but also protecting our citizens that go about the daily lives. And so my prayers and thoughts, it's just tragic. But other than that, let's end it on a high note. Tonight you got late night basketball. I'm checking out my football for the week on the Showtime. If you guys have questions, see me on Travis Audie on Facebook. You can see me on Travis Audie on YouTube, at Travis_Audie on Twitter. And then we'll check you out next time. So I'm going to upload, and we'll see you soon, guys. Thank you. God bless.